Welcome to Breaking Ground, the Women in AEC Leadership Podcast, where we lift the voices, journeys, and insights of women in the architecture, engineering, and construction space. And it's brought to you by Unanet. Today we're speaking at Champions Conference in sunny San Diego, and with me is Michele Ramler. Hi, Michele.
Hi, Sarah.
Welcome. We're happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
I'm going to give a brief introduction of you. So Michele serves as the Senior Associate and Director of Accounting and HR at ERA Structural Engineering, where she plays a key leadership role in overseeing the firm's financial operations and human resources functions. As part of a firm known for delivering complex structural engineering solutions across a wide range of projects nationwide, Michele contributes to the behind-the-scenes infrastructure and enables successful project execution and team performance. Her dual focus on finance and people operations positions her as an integral part of ERA's collaborative and high-performing culture. She is also a user group leader of our AEERP Midwest user group, and a joy to learn from today. So welcome again, Michele.
Thank you, Sarah.
Now, so the audience can get to know you a little bit more about your professional background and personally, could you share a brief bio with us?
Sure. I actually started out in sales, and I was in sales kind of through like high school, college, and then in first part of my career. I actually made a pivot, and then I went into HR, and then I made a pivot and decided that I wanted to get into accounting. And I went back to school.
That's a big pivot from sales to accounting.
Yeah, HR sales and accounting, and then 10 years later, I converted into accounting. And ever since then, I've been in kind of the real estate, construction, and then now AEC space.
Excellent. And what kind of do you feel like in the last year or so is something that really kind of sparked your heart for continuing on and looking towards the future in AEC?
You know, AEC is such a fun, dynamic industry. No two days are ever the same. And I think really looking at the future of how all things are changing and developing has really kind of excited me into what can we do different and better as an organization, and really take ourselves to the next level.
Excellent. That's a great answer. I'm going to back up just a bit because I want to play a little bit of an icebreaker.
Okay.
So we're going to play a game today called This or That.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to go ahead and name two choices, like coffee or tea, and all you do is share your preference.
Okay.
And this is going to be conference themed since we're at Champions Conference today. So conference morning routine, gym early, or a full night's rest?
Full night's rest.
Coffee, tea, or Red Bull to start your day?
Celsius.
Okay, good choice. Are you all in on the conference every minute, or are you more of like a breakout, do some work, catch up on emails, breakout?
I'm kind of all in.
Okay,
Yeah.
Excellent. We love that. Hotel meeting rooms, now that has not been my experience at this conference, but they're traditionally cold. So you're wearing a blazer today. Are you typically a blazer or a sweater girl?
Depends upon the day.
Okay.
But probably more blazer than sweater.
Okay. Now, accounting or HR?
Ooh, accounting.
I slipped that one in. Okay.
Accounting.
Love that. Takeaways. When leaving a conference, do you prefer to take away a list of action items or a refreshed, just big picture strategy?
You know, this is my 5th conference, and every conference I have come into it with a different purpose. And so this year, I'm really walking away with that kind of 100,000-foot view of I want to look at strategies and see how, as we're growing as an organization, how we can pivot and help the operational side of it pivot and grow too.
Love that. Great. And this is my 5th year as well. So we started coming to Champions Conference around the same time. One thing you mentioned, you've worked in HR and accounting and sales. Those are a lot of different departments, a lot of different roles and functionalities. And in the news a lot lately, especially with the next generation coming up, there's a lot of talk about handling stress in the workplace, and particularly with having to deal with a lot of different functions in very different areas. So what is either a tip maybe that you have or a way that you feel like you balance those people roles and the business roles?
Gosh, it's a really good question because we're all trying to find that balance in life of being able to, have a life and have a job and have a purpose. And, I think my biggest advice is just to take one day at a time. You know, I can be an overthinker, and that is sometimes to my detriment because I want to do all the things, but I don't have enough time to do it. And taking a step back and just really understanding like what is the purpose for what I'm trying to get accomplished, and focusing in on that and moving on to the next step.
When you do get stressed in an area, we all get stressed. Is there something in particular that you find personally helpful? Is it meditation? Is it taking notes, talking with a coworker or a colleague?
So I've played volleyball all my life.
Okay.
And so I still play recreationally a couple times a week, and that is my stress relief by far.
I love that. I'm more of a pickleball person myself, but I think that's great.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the team environment, but yet I can, hit a ball and take out the aggression.
Excellent. Okay. So lastly, this is kind of asking for another tip, but one question that we always ask our guests on our podcast is, what is one line of advice that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Oh, I think it kind of goes back to that, like, live in the moment. There's always going to be something new that's going to approach you, and the desire to want to do more, and just stay present, stay active, and find that passion that you really can dive into and be at your best.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you to our listeners of Breaking Ground. If today's episode resonates with you, be sure to follow, like, leave a review, and please share with someone in your network. And as always, thank you for breaking new ground.